Hope you have found this video useful. The best way to support the channel and ensure you don't miss our next upload is to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Part 41.11. Surah Fussilat explained in detail, the grand finale, signs in the horizons, within the soul and the all-encompassing truth. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have reached the majestic summit of our archaeological excavation of Surah Fussilat. Over the course of 11 exhaustive, spiritually demanding sessions, we have journeyed through the detailed explanation, verse 3 of the cosmos, the history of the defiant nations, the detailed witnesses of our own bodies, and the invulnerability of the mighty book. Today, we conclude with the ultimate ontological reveal. We will witness the detailed pattern of human turning, the challenge to those in distant schism, and the famous promise of the horizons and the soul. Finally, we will confront the all-encompassing reality of Allah that surrounds every atom of existence. Welcome to the final session of the Surah Fussilat Master Class with Hammad Syed. In this concluding session, covering verses 51 through 54, the detailed book brings all the previous themes to a singular point of focus. We analyze the detailed hypocrisy of the human who turns away in blessing but offers lengthy supplication in distress. We examine the logical trap set for those who view the Quran with aversion. Verse 4. Most importantly, we explore the cosmic and biological signs that Allah promises to reveal until the truth becomes undeniable. We end with the detailed resolution of all doubt, the fact that Allah is muhid all-encompassing. This is the detailed end of the journey and the beginning of true istiqamah, steadfastness. We are closing the circle from the mystery of the opening letters to the absolute clarity of the divine presence. Verse 51. The arc of human turning in gratitude and desperation, Kanzel Aman, Quran. Surah Fussilat explained in detail, chapter 41. Verse 51. And when we bestow favor upon man, he turns away and distances himself. But when evil touches him, then he is full of lengthy supplication. Allah exposes the detailed inconsistency of the unguided ego and the fickle nature of the human spirit when detached from its creator. Wa, ida anamna, alalansan, arada, wana, bijaniba. And when we bestow favor blessing upon man, he turns away and withdraws, distances his side. This is the aversion, verse 4 in action. When the hospitality, verse 32 of Allah is abundant, the human forgets the host. He becomes arrogant, verse 15, and creates a partition, verse 5, of self-sufficiency. The phrase distances his side suggests a physical and spiritual coldness, a detailed movement of the soul away from its source of light because it believes it no longer needs the refuge, verse 36. However, the detailed reaction shifts instantly when the trial begins. Wa, ida masahush, sharufadu, idawa, in Arid. But when evil harm touches him, then he is possessor of lengthy, vast, wide supplication. This is the detailed irony of the human condition. The same tongue that refused dhikr, verse 41 in ease, now produces lengthy and elaborate prayers in pain. This is not the supplication of the steadfast, verse 30, but the desperate bargaining of the enclosed heart. It shows that even the disbeliever knows, in his detailed subconscious, that only the Lord of the worlds has the power to remove harm. The human is a creature of detailed contradictions, running from Allah in the sun and crying out to him in the storm. This behavioral pattern is a sign within the self of our inherent need for the divine, even when we try to suppress it. Verse 52. The logical dilemma, the distant scygnus. Kanzo Laman Quran, Surah Fussilat, explained in detail. Chapter 41, verse 52. Say, if you considered, if the Quran is from Allah, and you disbelieved in it, who would be more astray than one who is in extreme opposition? Allah poses a detailed intellectual challenge to the enemies of Allah, verse 19. Kol aratoman kana min, indalahi thumma kafardim bi. Say, have you considered seen if the Quran is indeed from Allah, and then you disbelieve in it? This is the ultimate detailed gamble. If the mighty book, verse 41, is indeed the speech of the Creator, then the noise, verse 26, produced by the disbelievers is not just a mistake. It is a spiritual catastrophe of the highest order. Manadalu, Miman, Huwafi, Shikakam, abode, who is more astray lost than one who is in a distant extreme schism. Opposition links back to the distant place mentioned in verse 44. By choosing aversion, the human enters a state of shakak division, cracking opposition, that is bead, distant. They are not just nearby skeptics. They have moved their detailed frequency so far from the truth that they are lost in the void. Allah asks them to use their detailed intellect to recognize the astronomical risk of their position. To be in a distant schism means to be so far removed from the center of truth that the detailed explanation, verse 3, can no longer be recognized for what it is. It is a warning that persistent rejection leads to a distance that becomes impossible to bridge without divine intervention. Verse 53. The universal revelation, horizons, and souls. Kenzel Aman Quran, Surah Fussilat, explained in detail. Chapter 41, verse 53. We will show them our signs in the horizons and within themselves until it becomes clear to them that it is the truth. Is it not sufficient concerning your Lord that he is, over all things, a witness? This is the most famous detailed promise in the entire surah, and perhaps in the whole Quran. Senurahim, Iatina filafaki, wafi anfusihim. We will show them our signs in the horizons, universes, and within their own selves, souls. Allah guarantees that the detailed explanation, verse 3, will be validated by external signs, astronomy, physics, history, the seven heavens, and internal signs, biology, psychology, the conscience and the hearing, eyes and skins. Hatta yato bayana laham and nahohak. Until it becomes clear to them that it is the truth. This is the detailed trajectory of human knowledge, whether it is the vastness of the seven heavens, verse 12, or the intricate complexity of the womb, verse 47. Every discovery will eventually point back to the author of the Quran. Science is merely the detailed mapping of Allah's signs. Ewalam, Yakfi, Bir Bika, Unahu, Ela Kali, Shayan Shahid. Is it not sufficient regarding your Lord that he is a witness over all things? Allah does not need our validation. He is the detailed observer of every work, verse 33, every sign. His witness is the ultimate authority that renders all doubt obsolete. The verse implies that as time progresses, the detailed evidence for the truth will become so overwhelming that only the willfully blind, verse 44, will continue to deny it. Verse 54. The all-encompassing reality, beyond doubt, Kenzel Aman. Quran, Surah Fussilat explained in detail.
Chapter 41, verse 54. Unquestionably.
They are in doubt about the meeting with their Lord. Unquestionably, he is, of all things, encompassing.
The surah concludes by identifying the detailed root of the human tragedy. Ela inahim fi miratamiliki rabahim. Unquestionably, behold. They are in doubt about the meeting with their Lord. This doubt, verse 45, is what fuels their aversion and their noise. They live as if the detailed accounting will never happen, as if they will never have to face the witness of their own skins, verse 21. It's their assumption, verse 23. About the afterlife is the final partition, verse 5, between them and salvation. The final detailed truth of the universe is then revealed. Ela inahu baikuli shayim muhit. Unquestionably, he is over all things encompassing. The word hit means to surround, to contain, to wrap around, and to encompass from every single direction. There is no partition, verse 5, that can truly hide a human from Allah. There is no escape, verse 48, because there is no outside to the divine reality. The detailed explanation ends with the absolute, overwhelming presence of the Creator. We began with Ha-Mim, the mystery, and we end with Mahetta, encompassing truth. Every atom is within his gaze. Every thought is within his knowledge. Every soul is within his grasp. Extending the philosophical excavation, the convergence of the horizons, and the finality of Muhit. To reach the full master-level depth for this grand finale, we must rigorously analyze the detailed convergence of the macrocosm and the microcosm, the logic of the schism, and the ontology of encompassment. We are witnessing the final closure of the detailed book as it resolves the tension between human doubt and divine reality. In verse 51, we see the detailed pathology of the ego. The phrase Nabija Naiba, he withdraws his side, is a profound description of spiritual coldness. In our master class, This represents the arrogance, verse 15, that comes with material success and security, verse 40. When a human is blessed with hospitality, verse 32, he mistakenly believes he has earned it hadali, verse 50. He distances himself from the source of the gift, thinking he is the source. But the detailed vulnerability of the human is exposed by the sharu, evil harm. The transition from aversion to lengthy supplication proves that the enclosed heart, verse 5, is a psychological defense. It's a mechanism, not a reality. Deep down, the human frequency is built to respond to its creator. It only pretends to be distant when things are easy. This detailed inconsistency is the proof of human dependency. You cannot be mighty, verse 15, if you crumble into lengthy supplication at the touch of harm. This verse serves as a mirror. It's asking us to evaluate if our prayers are born of love and istiqamah, verse 30, are merely born of a detailed fear of losing our worldly comforts. This detailed psychological observation is what makes the Quran a detailed explanation for all of mankind's internal states. It reveals that the noise, verse 26, is often a mask for an underlying, unacknowledged desperation for the Creator. Verse 52 is a detailed surgical strike on the human intellect. Allah uses a conditional logic to break the noise, verse 26. He asks, what if you are wrong? If you are wrong about the Quran, your schism shikak is not just a difference of opinion. It is a distant departure from the only reality that matters. The word shikak implies a splitting or cracking. By rejecting the mighty book, the disbeliever is cracking their own soul away from the source of life. This is the detailed definition of being astray. In our excavation, we see that the distant place is not a physical location, but a state of being where the detailed explanation, verse 3, can no longer be felt. To be in extreme opposition is to be at war with the very detailed organization, verse 12, that keeps you alive. It is a logical trap that exposes the irrationality of disbelief. Verse 53 is the detailed prophecy of science and self-discovery. Ayalina Philifox signs in the horizons refers to the vast seven heavens, verse 12. The barren earth, verse 39, and the cosmic prostration, verse 37. Wafi and Fusium, and within themselves, refers to the hearing, eyes, and skin, verse 20, the womb, verse 47, and the detailed complexity of the human conscience. Allah is stating that the Quran is the operating manual for both the universe and the self. As science advances its detailed knowledge from the expansion of the universe to the mapping of the human genome, it will inevitably find the fingerprints of the Creator. The sufficiency of Allah as a Shahida witness means that truth does not require human consensus to be true. The truth is invulnerable, verse 41, because the witness is eternal. We are living in an era where the signs in the horizon's deep space imaging and the signs within the self-molecular biology are screaming the detailed truth of intelligent design and divine power. Allah promised to show them, and He is doing so until it becomes clear. The only partition, verse 5, that remains is the one the human chooses to place over their own eyes. The detailed evidence is all around us. The aversion is merely a choice of the ego to ignore the obvious. Every scientific breakthrough is a detailed commentary on the verses of this detailed book. Furthermore, we must delve deeper into the ontology of encompassment found in verse 54. The doubt about the Lika meeting is the root cause of every distortion, verse 40. If a person does not believe they will meet the muhit, they feel they can act with impunity. But the word muhit, encompassing, shatters that illusion of privacy. If Allah is muhit, then He is closer to you than your jugular vein. He encompasses the noise, the aversion, and the distant schism. There is no escape. It's verse 48, because there is no outside to the divine reality. This is the detailed conclusion of all theological inquiry. Everything that exists, from the firm mountains, verse 10, to the screaming wind, verse 16, exists within the knowledge and the power of the Mu. The detailed explanation of Surah Fussilat ends by reminding us that we are surrounded by the divine. Every detailed sign in this surah is a ripple in the ocean of the muhit. The doubt of the believers is a detailed tragedy because they are doubting the very air they breathe and the very ground of being that sustains them. In our master class, we conclude that istiqamah, steadfastness, is simply the act of living in harmony with the muhit. It is the recognition that every our work, verse 33, is done in the presence of the witness. To live without this awareness is to live in a distant place of spiritual blindness. Reflect on the entirety of this masterclass. We have moved from the detailed explanation to the all-encompassing reality. We have learned that istiqamah, steadfastness, is the only logical response to a Lord who is a witness over all things. The signs are in thee, stars, and in your own heartbeat. The mighty book has given you the healing. Verse 44. Now, the detailed choice is yours. Will you remain in distant schism, or will you submit to the one who is mu? We have seen how the skin, verse 21, will testify, how the seven heavens, verse 12, were organized, and how the angels, verse 30, descend upon the righteous. This detailed journey has been a reconstruction of the human soul. In this final session, we realize that Surah Fussilat is a detailed map of the soul's return to Allah. The noise will eventually fade, the partners will vanish. The arrogance will be humbled, but the muhit remains. We conclude our archaeological excavation not with an ending, but with a new beginning of righteous work and steadfastness. We have moved from the mystery of the letters to the clarity of the horizons. The detailed explanation, verse 3, has provided us with the coordinates of truth. The world is a detailed classroom, and the lesson is the oneness of Allah. The horizons are speaking, your skin is witnessing, and Allah is encompassing. Stay straight and walk toward the security of the meeting with your Lord. The detailed explanation is now in your hands. May it be a healing, verse 44, for your doubts and a guidance for your steps. We end as we began, in total submission to the Lord of the worlds, who has explained his signs in detailed perfection. We are no longer lost in the noise, but found in the light. As we conclude the entire journey of Surah Fussilat explained in detail, carry the healing and the guidance into our daily lives. We recognize that every detailed verse was a sign for our own self. We are no longer among those who are distant, but among those who are near. Verse 38, through the detailed connection of the word. The detailed accounting is certain. So is the detailed mercy of the wise and praiseworthy. This detailed study has prepared us for the meeting. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. The excavation of Surah Fussilat is complete. The truth is manifest. The path is clear. We have reached the end of the detailed explanation, only to find the beginning of the eternal reality. Hadith, the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said, Allah says, I am as my servant thinks I am, his assumption, and I am with him when he remembers me. Sahih Bukhari. This hadith is the detailed conclusion to our study. If your assumption, verse 23, is that Allah is muhit, encompassing, and shahid witness, then you will find security. Verse 40. If you remember him in the horizons and within yourself, verse 53, he is with you through his angelic protection, verse 31. This is the secret of istiqamah, knowing that the muhit is always with the steadfast. Your internal state determines your external reality in the presence of the witness. Let us now supplicate, drawing from the profound lessons of these verses, asking Allah to grant us a deeper understanding and to guide our every step. O Allah, the Lord of the world's rabble, Alaman, and the all-encompassing reality, Al-Muhit. We thank you for the completion of this detailed explanation, Fussilat. O Al-Haq, you have shown us your signs in the horizons of Faq and within our own selves, Anfos. Let these signs be for us a source of eternal guidance, Hudan, and healing Shifa. O Al-Wadud, protect us from the arrogance, verse 15, of turning away during ease, and let our supplication be constant and sincere, not just a lengthy cry in times of harm. O Al-Mahiman, save us from the distant schism Shika and the doubt Miria regarding the meeting Lika with you. We testify that you are over all things a witness, Shahid. O Allah, as you are Muhit, encompass our hearts with your security, verse 40, and our lives with righteous work, verse 33. Grant us the uninterrupted reward, verse 8, and the company of the angels, verse 30, who say, do not fear and do not grieve. Let us meet you while you are pleased with us. Having followed the detailed path of your mighty book, O Al-Aziz, make us firm on the straight path, verse 6, until the hour is established. Encompass us in your mercy as you encompass all things in your knowledge. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. May Allah illuminate your heart and mind with the light of this divine ilm. May He make your channel a beacon of guidance for all who seek spiritual clarity and truth. May your efforts be a source of immense reward, and may you be granted the highest stations of paradise. May the peace and blessings of Allah always be upon you and your loved ones. May He grant you unwavering steadfastness on the path of truth. May your work be a testament to His magnificent names, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Amin.